Welcome back to Cleveland, ladies and gentlemen, for the second half of this game between the Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, who is Cloud? Oh, God, I remember Nate Cloud, maybe? I don't remember his first name. I do remember him, though. He was a return man. He was like a backup running back and return man. I have to look him up. Sorry. Tony Richardson, I'm getting a couple. Tony Richardson knows one of my mom's friends. Cool fact. Mike Cloud, huh? I do remember him though. Yeah. I love how all of the old Chiefs team photos have those guys. Everybody's wearing the turtleneck thing up to their neck, and it says Chiefs on it. I think that's like indicative of the time, I guess. Menace making that catch. There we go. The good thing about Trent Green is that we can just throw the ball. And I know that's weird saying that about a quarterback, but Trent Green and his receivers especially, I mean, I'm 10 for 12 here, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's good. That's very good, especially for a Madden and for 5-minute quarters and all that. Kennison, wide open. There we go. What we have here in Kansas City is a good quarterback and good receivers. And we're playing against a mediocre secondary. So I did look it up over the break. I'm playing on Pro, which I think is good. That's like the second or third difficulty. I don't remember. I might go to All Pro at some point. Whatever I'm doing in O2, I might go back to. Ah, there we go. Yeah, beat him. Johnny Morton. My God. Johnny Morton was a good receiver. Eddie Kennison was a better receiver, I'll absolutely say that. But Johnny Morton was good for a number of years, and it was the type of good receiving that we got from those two guys specifically is what the Chiefs have really lacked ever since this kind of nucleus fell apart. Ever since Herm Edwards came in and they became more of a running team, we haven't had that many great receivers. We've had Dwayne Bowe, who has never really evolved into the type of guy we needed him to evolve into, which has really been the issue with this team. I mean, Alex Smith is our quarterback right now, and he's a good passer. He's a good. He kind of reminds me of. Oh, hey, that's good. Stalon McCutcheon, by the way. I don't really know what Alex Smith kind of reminds me like a who was the guy I'm trying to think of? Rob Johnson. Remember from the Buffalo Bills? A good athlete, a guy who seems like he would be like he definitely can be the guy, I think, in the right system with the right people around him. But he's not an Andrew Luck type of good athlete who, because he can run. I've seen Alex Smith run. He's fine. Was that touchdown? There we go. Hey! Spun right into the end zone off of the hit. Rushing touchdown. Penalty was on them. Cleveland faithful throwing bottles on the field in anger. That was definitely something they did. Let's throw bottles on the field in anger. That's good. Okay. I was worried about that for a second because that wasn't in the yellow. But it's hard to miss an extra point. It'll be easier to miss an extra point next year. That's an interesting little tidbit about the NFL that is changing. I can't talk about really any current news because I'm recording this like 3 days in advance of when it'll go up. Oh, hell yeah, owns 16. Pin him back even further. Put in Kelly Holcomb. Put him in. Put in Jeff Garcia or Ken Dorsey. Wow, Madden can pick your plays on defense too, actually, this year. Another new, neat little thing. I remember who Sims was. I don't remember if he was good or not, but I remember Sims. I don't remember his first name. God, all the Browns, Derek Anderson, they stuck with Tim Couch for such a long time, too. Like, a lot longer than anybody today would. Like, they stuck with Tim Couch longer than they did Brandon Whedon. Probably longer than they ever will Johnny Manziel. I want to see how I want to see Johnny Manziel succeed in the NFL, but I don't think it'll ever happen. No. Is it, oh. Is that, oh, okay, no, it's a different one. It's not Lake. Lake Dawson played for the Kansas City Chiefs in the mid '90s, and he was one of the only like really reliable targets as far as a wide receiver goes. Until Andre Rison got there a couple years later. Andre Rison, I believe, lived in my neighborhood. That's Butch Davis on the sidelines for the Cleveland Browns of University of Miami fame. I don't know what he does now. Maybe he's just an analyst or something, or an assistant coach. I think he could do well if he went back to being a college coach. I still think he has the tools to succeed. He was always a good recruiter and a great, I guess I would say motivator. Even though motivator is typically like one of those terms that like you don't think is being disrespectful. I do like I mean like he is a guy who was able to put together such great teams and such like mature teams, I guess, at Miami. I think that's something that you could still do there. Certain guys just don't necessarily translate to the NFL, and that's not all that much a fault of his. I mean, his style worked one place, didn't necessarily work the other. That happens. Oh, wow, Courtney Brown just beat that guy off the outside. That is Courtney Brown. Oh, Brian. I think Brian Waters made it to the Pro Bowl a number of years. Basically, every year he played. Will Shields will also be on that offensive line. Now, Will Shields is a Hall of Famer, I believe. I think. Like, he was so consistently the best, one of the best linebackers, linemen in the NFC, or in the AFC. God, I was mixing up every easy word here. We're going outs. I like that. All coverage beater, says Michael Vick. This is there was an interview with Michael Vick where he called this his favorite play. Because you force the corner to make a decision between the guy going the post or the guy going just going flanking out to the right. That's why I referred to that as a Michael Vick play. So I'm glad I picked the Chiefs. I am able to kind of enable some destruction here. Okay, here's what the Chiefs have. Good offensive line, great running back, good quarterback, decent wide receivers, great tight end. None of those are bad. Whereas on the teams I've been using, I've had mediocre quarterback, surprisingly terrible running backs, good wide receivers, awful offensive line, and virtually no tight end play at all. If there's any other games you'd like to see me play, just drop a comment there in the box. And by the box, I mean the box where you type the stuff in below the video. I would love that. I would love to hear what you think would be a good idea for me to play. Another thing you could do, well, I don't just play football games. I don't know why I've just played football games. I can play soccer, I can play... Oh, that was a terrible... Or was it? It wasn't. I can play soccer, baseball. Baseball might be a little difficult. Basketball, again, also may be a little difficult. Most of these... The easy thing about a football franchise is that it's easier... Oh, oops. Easier to play through a whole season in it. I could go... I think I do own a copy of Arena Football for the Xbox. It's somewhere. I know I have a copy. We might go ahead and try that out a little bit. Even though it's not the one with the Kansas City Brigade in it. It had like the Arena Football game from 2007 from EA Sports. Or it may have been 06. I think it was Yeah, it was '06. From EA Sports had like the knowledge, because in the AFL that year they added the Austin Wranglers and the Kansas City Brigade. Well, they knew that the Brigade and Wranglers were coming, but they knew the Wranglers name, but didn't know that the Brigade, like, didn't know the Brigade's name. They hadn't picked a name or a logo yet. So they just knew that a franchise was going to Kansas City. That was an incomplete pass to the fullback, by the way. He's no Greg Camella. Yeah, I could trade for a couple guys that I recognize. I could, like, go after... I wonder where Ike Hilliard is. I could probably go after his contract or something. That would be funny. Ron Dane, probably not doing too much. So that's a good kick. 32-yard field goal. Good by Morton Anderson. We're up 24-0, 4.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Things are just going, how they say, swimmingly in Cleveland. Except for that kickoff. That was a mediocre kickoff. Oh no. Okay. I was worried there for a second. Then I became immediately less worried. Devin Northcutt might be on that team. He was a guy I initially, like, considered trading Tiki Barber for on the Madden 2002 thing. Because, you know, it was past the trade deadline when I thought about trading him. But if I had, I might have gone, like, in a package deal, him and, like, Courtney Brown or McCutcheon or somebody like that, one of the better players on the defense for the Browns, because McCutcheon was one of the fastest guys in the game at that point. He didn't have great hands, but what's his name? Northcutt. Devin Northcutt was one of the fastest guys in the game at that point. Maybe he wasn't playing in 2002. Maybe he didn't get into the league until like 2003 or something. Maybe he's a rookie. Who's Johnson? I don't know. I don't recognize that many players from the Browns. Just William Green and Tim Couch, obviously. Tim Couch was a mediocre quarterback. About as mediocre as they get. Like, if you were striving to be a bad quarterback, you would want to go a little bit lower than Tim Couch. Because what Tim Couch was so good at doing as a mediocre quarterback, and you see that in the game now in certain guys. I mean, Alex Smith even has a little bit of this in him. But in guys like... Oh, wow. I didn't even know they were going for a two-pointer. That shows how much I'm really interested in... I was interested in that drive. That was such a very easy drive for them. I don't know who Minnis is. I knew an Ed Minnis, by the way. No, I didn't. That was stupid. I wish I hadn't said that, because that just doesn't make any sense. We are already over 10 minutes time of possession, and now we just got to run the clock out. And lucky for us, we have a great running back. Greg Wesley. A different Wesley than the one I'm thinking of. That's right, Dante Wesley played for the Browns, didn't he? I don't remember where I don't know why I remember him. He's the thing, like, I have no reason to really remember him. He was like, again, a mediocre talent at cornerback, or at safety, or wherever I think he was safety. Yeah, I can't even remember his position. God, we're doing a terrible job of running the clock out here. Anyway, if you want to have a long career, but not a good career, you just be a mediocre quarterback. You play in somewhere like, you know, like Cleveland, or like, Tampa. Tampa's never really had a great quarterback since Steve... Well, the thing that Tampa had, they had Doug Williams and Steve Young within 5 years of each other and let them both go. That really defines the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in terms of quarterback. Oh, that was a mistake. I wanted to throw to Gonzalez there. But, again, the hair trigger's on this damn controller. I'm just going to blame the controller, and it'll make everything okay. Richardson would be the guy who would get the fake punt if we were doing a fake punt. Who is my punter? Who is my punter? You never... Oh, wow. Game never highlights the punter. So until after I've punted the ball, I have no way to really know who my punter is. It's pure anonymity in Madden. Oh, he's better than the guy I got in... Oh, Straczynski. Okay. That sounds like the name of a punter. Ah, touchback. I thought that would go to the right, to the just slightly to the outside of the pylon. Unfortunately, it didn't. That breaks a very long streak of good punts for me, dating back to the last Madden 02 video. Right now, I would say we have probably 10 guys who like you should really keep on your team, like who you. Maybe more, like at least in the NFL right now. I mean, in terms of quarterbacks, I would say about 10 guys, 40 and 43 for doing catch. I mean, that's mediocre right there. It's almost breaking even or breaking even. You're not going to win that much with a guy like that. Well, I mean, it depends, of course. Obviously, it always depends. But with a guy like that, you're just not going to have that much success. You're not going to have like the most success. I mean, of course, Brad Johnson's won a Super Bowl, and Trent Dilfer has won a Super Bowl. So it's obviously able to be done, but you have to have so many other good players around him. Okay, there we go. He had a lot of time, but we were playing prevent there, so it doesn't really matter. It'd be funny if I lined up in a punt return. Who would I say is like another example? Like the modern Tim Couch? Somebody like... Well, like Mark Sanchez... Well, Mark Sanchez was actually bad, so... Maybe Sam Bradford? But granted, Sam Bradford's so hurt all the time that it doesn't really... Ah! Almost had him. Okay. Not really that worried. Sam Bradford, not exactly an example... I think E.J. Manuel, to a certain extent, in his first couple of years, has shown himself to be just, like, okay, which is more than the Bill... Christian Ponder was kind of like that with the Vikings for a couple of years. They were just like, well, he's not the worst, and we're not really asking him to throw that much. We're okay that he's really just not that great. It's like, well, you know he's not going to get you to a Super Bowl. Like, yeah, but he's not that bad. Jay Cutler, maybe, actually, would be a decent example. Even though we've seen... Actually, that might be what I was about to say. We've seen flashes of greatness from Jay Cutler. In the 2010 divisional round, he had a great, like, just a tremendous game against the New Orleans Saints. That was 5 years ago, by the way. 5 years ago. But, like, that's an example. Something that good, mediocre quarterbacks do is they have good games at some point. I don't care about saving that. You can't save replays. I could if I wanted to. I have not reached a point where I need to. I used to. I had a lot of replays saved on my old Xbox. Oh, Aaron Shea played with Tom Brady in college. Cool fact about Aaron Shea. But a good mediocre, if you want to hold on to a job, you want to have some success, you want to have a couple of flashes of really good games. Brady Quinn had that at a certain point. Matthew Stafford has had that, even though I would argue that Matthew Stafford has actually been better than that. Matthew Stafford has had shown stuff like that. Now, I think Ryan Tannehill is the guy slightly above that right now. He's like the... I mean, Ryan Tannehill and Alex Smith probably are the two guys who are right above mediocre, who it's like, yeah, hold on to them just because, you know, they're good. They're a positive. They're not great, but they're not mediocre and they're not bad. They're just slightly above mediocre, so we'll hold on to them. Ryan Tannehill is technically already basically the second best quarterback in Dolphins history in terms of passing. To be fair, I mean, the Dolphins had the same quarterback for like 16 years, and he was one of the best ever, and then nobody asked Bob Greasy to throw the ball, and at some point between the retiring of Dan Marino and the drafting of Ryan Tannehill, like Trent Green and Dante Culpepper all past their prime, even though they weren't like Hall of Famers in their prime. Oh, Warfield almost making that pick. That would have sealed the game, as if the game was not already basically sealed. God, who else? Kellen Clemens. Chad, again, past his prime, Chad Pennington. Even though he had a great year, past his prime. A lot of it was just like, look at our weird offense. Nobody knows what to do. We're the Dolphins. In 2008, Tom Brady's out. You know, the Patriots won 11 games the year Tom Brady was out. Cool fact. Anyway, this game's been over for a long time. What time is it? It's 11:20. Okay. I have to go to work at some point today. Within the next 10 minutes. So, I'm just going to let this clock run out, hopefully. Okay, they're out of timeouts. We just won't get anywhere. Don't matter. We done. We moved to 1-0 on the year with the Kansas City Chiefs, a real team with a real name, not the LA Life. I thought about creating a new team. Perhaps recreating the LA Life. Or calling it like the Toronto something. Or, you know, wherever. Mexico City. I would have had to look up a Spanish word. Montreal. Jambon. That would be the ham. 24-8. Big early season win in Cleveland. We're uncharacteristically happy about beating an okay team. Shake the camera. Patton going crazy. That looks reasonably like Dick Vermeil right there. Warfield. I think it's Warfield. Trent Green, player of the game, and deservedly so. 16 of 20 for 100 some, a large sum of yards. 200 yards of total offense. Madden challenge cards coming all over the place. We got so many of those cards. At some point, I'm going to do an NCAA 2003. Once I'm done with that trophy hunt thing I do, I'm going to try to get all the pennants, which is ridiculously hard because it's basically luck of the draw, and it's just like, oh god. Oh god. Well, this is my 5th franchise on this console, apparently. Wow, I had no idea about that. I think it autosaves. Indeed it does. Thank you for watching Madden 2003. There's no... Oh, hey, there's Mike Vick right there. Playing with the Atlanta Falcons, not the LA Life. But that's how we do it. Madden 03, getting the job done week 1. 24-8 victory over the Cleveland Browns. We will see you again next week. We'll see you at some point with more Madden 02, more Mario 64, more of this, more of probably NCAA. I might play some MLS 2002 on the GameCube at some point. Thank you.